Hey everyone, so it has been a minute since I last uploaded on this channel, and to be completely honest, I was planning on taking a bit more time away. But when I saw a grown man declare a literal holy war on Twitter to defend his right to look at young little anime characters, I felt that it's best to clock back in. So today, we're gonna go over a pretty big situation that has got everyone in a massive civil war, and I mean big time. And it mainly stems from a large anime YouTuber named Chibi Reviews, who has nearly 500,000 subscribers. Because over the past week, the internet has watched this guy completely self-destruct in real time, dragging himself into a deeply concerning controversy where he aggressively defends extremely inappropriate concepts to his audience under the guise of free speech. Now, to begin with how it all started, if you haven't been keeping up with the lore of the whole situation, he decided to log on Twitter, and unfortunately, he clicked post. In the tweet he posted reads, "F it, I'm making a loli defense video today. Already been cancelled, had a bajillion death threats and false accusations. I have nothing to lose and will not stop speaking up for freedom of expression within artwork." Now, right off the bat, you can see the really silly cartoonish hyperbole he's using here. He's literally claiming to have received these threats and stuff, but it more so just seems as if he's trying to frame himself as a brave solitary hero, making a final stand against an oppressive mob. He essentially wants his audience to view his video as an act of courageous rebellion, rather than a creepy justification for the taboo fantasy it is. And it is this exact moment where things started to fall apart. Now, when people like this guy like to talk about freedom of expression and more rights and all that stuff when it comes to situations like this, it starts to reveal what they're actually mad about. So earlier before this drama exploded, Chibi uploaded a video in which he had an absolute meltdown over a mobile game called The 7 Deadly Sins Origin. He claimed it was the biggest case of misleading advertising he has ever seen, and complained that the developer took the beta designs and completely edited them to hide problematic content. And he essentially threatened to personally boycott the entire game. Now, when you listen to him speak, he tries to make it sound like the developers destroyed the artistic integrity of the game, but one of the main things he's fierce about is absolutely insane. So if you look at the side-by-side screenshots from the beta version versus the official release, the developers literally just linked in the character's underdress. The beta version showed a blatantly uncensored undershot of the character running, and the release version covered her lower half up. Yup, that's literally it. That's the ultimate mega censorship that these people are crying about. But it gets infinitely worse when you look at who this character actually is. So if you pull up the official sheet for this character, whose name is Tiara, right under her name, it explicitly states that she's actually 11 years old. I mean, it's literally like, oh, I don't like this game anymore because I don't get to see an anime girls undershots anymore, guys. I'm boycotting this game. Now, I'm not saying that he's a genuine PDF who targets actual real kids or anything, but no matter what way you put it, that's literally what the crying sounds like when you take all that information into consideration. So I don't know what else I'm missing, especially if it's right in front of our face, and it just looks so undeniably bad. And for the loli defenders out there who want to pull the classic excuse that she might be an 11-year-old in a different type of years, but she's actually a 1,000-year-old fairy, that does not work here. Because canonically, Tiara was born after the original series ended. The official sequel series, Four Nights of the Apocalypse, takes place exactly 16 years later, and the origin game happens 2 to 3 years before that. You cannot squeeze 1,000 years into a 16-year timeline. The math is undeniable. Her canonical age is 11 years, which means she's a literal child. Additionally, we have to take into consideration that this is a mobile game for 12-year-olds and older. So when you strip away the high-minded vocabulary and all that nonsense, you realize that Chibi Reviews, who's a grown man by the way, threw a massive temper tantrum because the video game designed for 12-year-olds refused to let him look at the undershots of a canonically 11-year-old anime character. That is what he's fighting for in his little version of autistic integrity. And not only does this completely destroy his own argument, but exposes the rest of the weird loli online who tried to hide behind the exact same excuses. Now, going to the next major part of the situation, we have to look at his official loli defense video and a massive straw man he built to dodge accountability. To be fair, one of the main catalysts for this video was a series of tweets from a PDF catcher named Schlep, who made a highly flawed comparison, blurring the legal lines between anime drawings and real life material. As Diesel Patches rightfully pointed out before his video got taken down, equating the two is not a good position to have, considering only one actually inflicts real physical harm. But this is where Schlep's word choice was a massive unforced error. By using a heavy, legally biting term like PDF to describe drawings, he essentially handed Chibi a golden ticket where he didn't even have to defend his creepy behavior anymore. Instead, he gets to be like, I'm the lawyer now, and drag everyone into a semantic debate about legal definitions. Now, if muddying that language is actually harmful to real survivors, why didn't Chibi just point that out while having the most mature conversation about it? Because guess what? He can't. You cannot sincerely advocate for survivors while fighting for your right to throw a temper tantrum over an anime girls censor undershots in a video game meant for 12-year-old kids and older. The optics are fundamentally radioactive here. So the only way any weird loli defender like him would be able to take a moral high ground is to escalate by inventing a completely hypothetical scenario. In this scenario, apparently police departments are suddenly swamped with 9/11 calls over anime drawings, causing detectives to start real investigations. And to back this up, his defenders will come out of the woodwork and are literally doing it right now to regurgitate a manufactured myth that the FBI and child safety organizations are begging people to stop reporting drawings. But if if you actually look at their proof, it completely falls apart. There's no current official statement from the US law enforcement or NCMEC telling the public to stop reporting this. These defenders dig up out of context complaints from 2019 that are not just about anime, but rather all kinds of false reports in general. But here's the funny part, because if you read the exact 2019 article they left a screenshot, at the very bottom, that same child safety organization explicitly tells the public to do report non-photographic and computer-generated imagery since it's illegal in the UK. They are literally cropping out the part that proves them wrong. They also misrepresent a 2020 open letter written by free speech activist groups and pretend that it's a direct order from the police. And to make it even more embarrassing, that petition was explicitly rejected by the child safety network it was sent to and completely debunked by the Australian government. These loli defenders misrepresent and make up false claims just to publicly defend and attempt to normalize their weird fantasies and guilt-trip critics into silence. Because the truth is, cybercrimes divisions do not launch time-consuming SWAT raids over pixelated artworks. Organizations like NCMEC literally use automated reporting systems, hashing, and category tags designed to filter that stuff out in seconds. So no, reporting a drawing isn't stalling real investigations to the catastrophic extent Chibi frames it as. The only reason he's making such a heavy over-exaggeration is so he can use the concept of actual victims as an emotional meat shield just so he doesn't have to take accountability for his own gross behavior. But the absolute best part of this entire situation, the literal cherry on top of this massive pile of delusion, is what happened immediately after Chibi tried to make these arguments. So a commentary YouTuber named Diesel Patches uploaded an 18-minute video completely dismantling Chibi's moral grandstand. He called out the fake police strongman, and then he pulled up Chibi's public Twitter feed, proving that Chibi isn't some noble free speech warrior protecting victims. He's literally just a guy who wants to openly drill in his mouth over a canonically 10-year-old character from Ben 10. Diesel completely destroyed him on a logical and moral level. So how did Chibi respond? Did he defend his logic? Did he provide new evidence? Of course not. Because he couldn't debunk a single point, Chibi resorted to one of the most desperate tactics I've ever seen, and it's called weaponized whataboutism. He uploaded this 49-second deflection video showing a year-old community post from Diesel Patches where Diesel joked about deleting a video featuring a 12-year-old anime character. Chibi framed this to his audience by essentially crying, "Diesel's calling me a PDF," which he never did, but a year ago he was making positive videos about lolis. What a hypocrite. But if you actually try to find what the video really is, you'll realize that it wasn't even a pro loli video at all. It was literally an edgy meme post video making fun of disgraced internet PDFs like Dark Disrespect, EDB445, and Minilad. Chibi completely stripped the video of his context to build a fake narrative because he had absolutely no arguments left. So how did Chibi and his community handle being exposed for blatantly lying? Were they being the mature free speech advocates they claimed to be? Nope. Because right after Diesel Patches dismantled Chibi's whole deflection, his video suddenly got taken down by YouTube for a child safety violation. Now whether that was a coordinated massive reporting spree from Chibi's fans, or just YouTube's system being a complete douchebag, the irony speaks for itself. For a group of people who literally cope, mauled, and seethe over censorship and freedom of expression, they seem awfully quiet when it's their critics getting silenced and struck down. So it turns out it's all about free speech and artistic integrity, right up until it's someone calling them out for being the weirdos they actually are. And that tells you absolutely everything you need to know about this side of the situation. When Chibi Reviews gets into situations like this, not only does he use real victims as an emotional meat shield, he actively lies, twists the context, uses guilt-tripping and exaggerated scenarios to silence his critics, and last but not least, he likes to drill in his mouth over canonically preteen characters just to put the cherry on top. He's a dishonest fraud masquerading as an activist, and it's honestly embarrassing that anyone ever took him seriously in the first place.